We get this initial kick, so the road rising now. That is a steep little section that goes up to around 5.5%. Then it levels off again for a few hundred metres. A chance to just build a little bit of speed, and then the grading goes up again. There's attack by Ganna.
And Filippo Ganna has gone. We saw him at the start today. We saw Cat Among the Pigeons yesterday. From Pogacar to Ganna, another star, 4Ks to go. And this is his perfect distance. It's a pursuit race.
Yes, well, it is a perfect place to attack, and yeah, we can see there, you know, he's opened the gap very, very quickly, but the effort he's put in to keep this going all the way, as we can see here. But he's a rider that can do that. He can, you know, do this, sustain this effort over this distance. But it's going to be an interesting one. You know, back in the peloton, we can see they're still, you know, continuing on to set a very strong pace.
Robbie, if he gets to the top here, he's almost there with the gap, isn't he?
And he knows that. A lot of riders have been talking about this stage today, saying effectively the finish is almost at the top of the Capomeli, because after that, not much will change. Is this Danny van Poppel?
A time for a counter-attack, and 2 counter-attacks. We've seen Bahrain chasing here as well. This is Bora Hansgrohe with the rider right at the top, chased as well by Tudor Pro Cycling. Jonathan Narvaez is at the front of the chasing group, ready to pounce as well into that famous tunnel that Robbie was talking about. Let's have a look to see what's happening. It is Danny van Poppel. He's the man out there trying his best to try and chase on the Dutch sprinter. Also there is Andrea Pasqualon, and the Italian is dreaming of home success, and that would be an unlikely win, but a very popular one indeed. But look at the gap. Just take a look at the gap. Filippo Ganna has opened up that gap, and at the minute, he's in prime position.
It's a very good gap, but a lot of organisation back in the peloton. Riders who haven't made their biggest efforts just yet, staying intact. We've seen, if you try and just jump across this gap, we've seen 2 riders already explode in Pasqualon and Danny van Poppel. The pace at the front now going off. Bahrain victorious there. Another counter-attack coming.
VF Gruppardiani go, and Sean, you could see a mass parting of the ways there. This is a great chance for Ganna.
Yes, this is looking good for Ganna, but again, in the run to the line, it's going to be an interesting one. If there's riders there with teammates, that is going to be the real difficult one for Ganna to hold off. But he's the only rider, I think, in the peloton that can possibly do this.
It's Filippo Fiorelli who's out after him, and we've seen him in fantastic climbing form. He's also got a very good sprint. The peloton is being thinned out behind, Robbie. If it does come back together, not everybody's where they want to be.
No, they're not, but who is where they want to be is Lidl Trek. They've got numbers. They've got Jonathan Milan in the wheel. They can see Ganna just up the road, but with 7 seconds and over 2 kilometres to go, he's now on the descent. If you're going to back anybody in this peloton to hold off the rest of them, it would be Filippo Ganna. Fiorelli not giving up the chase, but Ganna now getting onto the downhill, getting aero, biggest gear engaged to see if he can hold them off. 2K to go.
And they're on the descent all the way to Andorra, and it will pass in a flash. Less than a couple of minutes from here at these speeds. Ganna is flying, and Top Ganna is gunning for another victory on the Giro. 6 before this particular race. He was in the breakaway for the first 20 Ks today, decided he'd try and win it another way, and he has fired the opening shots. Behind, they still try and chase. Alpes in the Koenig try and catch them as well. There's Lidl Trek. They have the firepower, but it's hard on the downhill.
Yes, it is hard on the downhill, but we can see here, you know, a lot of riders appearing across the road here. You know, there's going to be lead-out men who are going to take it up. And 1.2 kilometres, we can see the gap. It looks good, but in the final run to the line, it's going to be difficult for Ganna to hold off.
It looks like they're going to get him, but they cannot afford to hesitate for one moment. If someone swings off and the rest don't go through, problem here for Martinez.
GC
mechanical
problems.
Within 3K to go. He's all good to get the same time. Ganna in front, about to be caught. The sprint lead-out men ready to launch the fast men.
And Filippo Ganna is there, about to be caught. It's got Sonny on his wheel, ready to launch Milan. Just like yesterday, it's going to be last gasp in the final few hundred metres. Ganna is gone, and it's Sonny at the front trying to lead things out. Groves not too far behind. Coy approaching, 400 metres to go. They're past the nasty roundabout, and it's Ganna who's drifting back. But here at the front now, it's Laporte who's leading out Coy. Milan on the wheel as well. Left-hand side, look at Medlier coming from a long way back. It's Milan at the front, but can he last? Medlier's getting to the front again. Look at him going, Ciclamino. It's Groves, but Milan's lasting. Milan's going. Milan makes it, and he has his win for a 2nd year running. Jonathan Milan makes it to the finish. Oh, it looked difficult at times. It almost looked impossible over the top. but they got him. It was the longest of long lead-outs, and Milan, with a mighty sprint, has outlasted much power in the legs of those behind. That is a sensational win from Jonathan Milan.